What's up, Rat Pack Productions? This is Celia, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite superhumans. You know them, you love them, Stan Lee's Superhumans. Best show ever. If you haven't watched it, go run to Disney Plus and watch every single episode right now. Basically, Stan Lee sends Daniel, the freak, who is the world's most flexible man, on missions to go find the world's superhumans. Today we're going to be ranking them based off of random categories that I have decided on the spot. So at number 10, we have the man who can talk really fast. First of all, this guy's British, so that took off points for me. Second of all, he is just able to talk really fast, so that's just like barely even an ability. And when they recorded him and slowed him down, he was still speaking gibberish, so I just didn't find him really that impressive. Coming in at number 9, we have the man who can fly. When I found out that there was going to be a man who could fly, I was very excited. I was expecting a man who could fly, oddly enough. And then I come to find out that he is just an engineer who built a jetpack, which is really cool, but I wouldn't necessarily call that a superhuman ability. So, I mean, it's cool that he can fly a jetpack. Good for him, proud, but at the same time, not a superhuman ability. Kind of disappointing. Number 8 was Monkey Man. See, Monkey Man is really cool and really talented, and he's probably one of the only people with a true superhuman ability, but at the same time he freaks me out, so there's that. He is genetically adapted to have hands and feet that are similar to monkeys, making him able to climb really steep walls and climb really fast and run really fast, and I don't know, something about that really freaks me out. I don't know, the freak out factor really put him at his ranking. Number 7 is going to be the human jukebox. This guy, he just didn't impress me. He's a blind man who is British, again, very similar to the talking fast man, and he can play any song from his memory like this on piano. You can name any song and he'll be able to play it. And I think this is really cool. Love music, right? That's awesome. Go off, king. But at the same time, how is this ever going to be helpful in the real world when we're fighting a supervillain? It's just not. So that put him at number 7. Number 6 is the Torture King. This guy just stabs himself over and over again with these skinny wires. He puts them right under his skin and stabs himself through his arm, through his throat and things. It's really weird. I think that we should be checking him out psychologically. I wouldn't necessarily call it a superhuman ability, but apparently he can't feel pain. So that's cool and all, but I think the only way that this would be helpful is if the supervillain was only shooting really thin wires at him and right under his skin. Because if he got shot, he'd be toast, So just not helpful. At number 5, we have the Kinetic Man. See, this guy was really cool, and I'm really impressed with him, but at the same time, he's not super helpful. So he's able to move things with his mind. And this would be awesome if he could move giant things, like Magneto picking up a full football stadium, right? But he can't. He can only move small objects with his mind, so that's not really awesome. Alright, coming in at number 4, we have the Venom guy. So this guy is apparently immune from snake venom. I mean, that's really cool, but I don't really see how helpful this is, per se. I mean, go off, king. I'm proud of you for just not being able to be destroyed by snakes. But how would this be helpful with a supervillain? The only time that I'm thinking this is helpful is if the supervillain is a giant snake, if the supervillain is a bunch of snakes, or if the supervillain only carries snakes as weapons. If this guy gets shot, he's toast. Pretty similar to the Torture King, so. At number 3, we have the man with tiger strength. This is impressive. This is cool. So he scientifically has the same strength as a tiger, which is phenomenal. He can hand-to-hand combat. Done. He got it. He can rip people's throats out easily. Phenomenal. The reason he got points taken off is because when they showed him, they also showed a tiger walking next to him. So I was expecting as any reasonable person would, for them to have the tiger and the man who's stronger than a tiger to fight. Come to find out that they didn't fight. So I was really disappointed, and that left like kind of a sour taste in my mouth. So he was at number 3. Number 2 is the human battering ram. This guy is my goat, okay? He is like the real life Juggernaut. If Juggernaut was just an average little man, this would be the human battering ram. He can run through any brick wall that isn't mortared together. You want to talk about impressive? And we all know with Gen Z's work ethic, we're never mortaring together brick walls anymore. All brick buildings are kind of just stacked on top of each other. This guy can just run through anything. So he deserves number 2. And I also really like the fact that like before he runs through a wall, he does this like warm-up routine where he jumps a lot and screams a lot. You wouldn't need the element of surprise if you had like the skills to pay the bills, you know? And that's why I like the human battering ram. Coming in at number 1, this is by far the best superhuman. If you've seen the show, you know who I'm talking about. You know him, you love him, we all love him. It's the human speed bump. Come on, look at that name alone deserves number 1. He reportedly has the world's strongest abs. Man's been hitting the gym. Come on. And then when Daniel brings him to a doctor to test how strong his abs actually are, we find out that Daniel has stronger abs than this guy. And what does the human speed bump do about that? Information? Yeah, he has them hit him with a car. A full truck. A truck runs over the human speed bump. And you know what the human speed bump does after being hit by a truck? He stands up and he goes, yeah, I just got hit by a truck. If I'm building a superhuman team, I'm gonna need a man who can just be hit by a truck and stand up and go, yeah, whatever. That's an important life skill, I would say. And then, of course, I know that was number 1, but there is a guy who, he might not be a superhuman, but he's so talented and so much better than all of these people that he didn't even deserve to be on this list. He deserves his own list. Dr. Hands. Dr. Hands is the doctor that they brought the human torture king to assess his pain levels. I didn't even believe that the torture king was not feeling pain until Dr. Hands told me that he wasn't feeling pain. So, Dr. Hands deserves his own list. I could make a whole video about Dr. Hands. If you have an ailment, call Dr. Hands. He's in a really sketchy building, but he will fix you up. Don't you fret, okay? So, that's my top 10 Stanley superhuman. If you see Daniel, the world's most flexible man just walking down the street, run. Because he is, I don't know, he has a weird vibe. He's kind of a freak. Anyway, bye.